Moth is such a beloved character in the franchise. And yet, she was butchered and torn and did dirty in the most absurd way possible in this video because I would really love to use her. But it's just she is so terrible and she feels terrible. But I want her to be playable. So that is why I'm making this video. Not to make her worse, not to do anything, but just oh my god, just playing her is terrible. Just please rework her. Maximoff is so terrible in this game. It's generally not even funny. Due to the limitation of her hex bolts, this terrible game, this glitchy, annoying hex that does absolutely nothing. Especially when all I can do is just watch my supports die in my backline. Which sometimes, even me myself being in a backline, I need help because literally it's not that I'm not doing it, like I'm shooting and doing everything. As a Venom is just shredding my supports. He won't even look at me or acknowledge me. And I mean, I would too because she's not threatening or anything. She's just back there. Sometimes the whole tank up front has to come back and help because it's not like I'm not doing anything, but at the same time, this character is not doing anything. And honestly, having her in your lobbies would, actually reduce your chances of winning along with getting a Strange because to be honest, that Strange team up after it has been nerfed, it was only good for like the range you get on it because they gutted the damage. It's only good for range and your ult charge because you significantly get a lot of, I wouldn't even say a lot, but I'd say quite some art charge when in the team up. But besides that, Strange actually also hinders your team because he's usually used for a shield and a portal. And forcing someone to be on Strange when they have no idea what they're doing, it can also decrease your team value. So this character overall is just, not only is she bad and she has a gambling ult, which if you have a gambling ult and you have a bad kit, what really are you providing for your team? People argue that her ult can just decimate a whole enemy team. While that is true, you're only really getting, depending on how long the game is, but really each point you're really getting like 2 ults. Unless you guys can contest really good, but besides that, you only get her ult like what, once every blue moon. Her kit is something that you constantly use, so for her to have a obliterate ult, but for her to constantly lack and her ult is gambling, you're not really gaining anything. Now, for the rework, when it comes to this ult, to be honest, I feel like either one, they should make it optional and give her 2 different ult options, or they should just remove it if they really want to, because this kit has to go. It's just straight up terrible. You're not really doing anything. And everything about her is just, you're messing up your team value if you play Wanda. And people will argue that saying, well, statistics and numbers. Numbers mean nothing without reason. And the reason why is because, yes, people have been playing this character. However, you don't know the reason behind that. All you're looking at is numbers. Many people want to play Wanda or play Wanda for Wanda. They're not playing her because of her kit. Actually, that goes for most of these characters. Unless, not saying that everyone does it, but like most people who play this game, they play this game because they really love their character. So for Wanda, her pick rate to be a certain way, which has slightly been decreasing. However, it's not really mainly focused on her kit. It's focused on the character itself because you're putting comic heroes in a video game, and of course people are going to choose their favorite hero. Wanda is so bad, it's not even funny. She hinders you not in one but 2 ways. One way is providing nothing for the team, letting supports die while being back there herself because her damage really means nothing. Like, you can just walk straight through it. The only time you really can't avoid a Wanda is if you're like 2 HP or something like that, but most dives and other stuff are like calculated, so really that rarely happens, especially in high ranks. Basically, you're providing nothing. You have a gambling all. You have a terrible kid. So if your supports need help, you can't really help them because of how bad. I can't tell you how many times I've been blamed for not being able to kill a Spider-Man, not because I wasn't using my balls or shooting at him, just because he flies across my screen like nothing. And when he's in one area, her damage is so low, I can't kill him. I can only get him so low enough to the point where he runs away, but he runs away just to come back seconds later. Venom shredding. I can stun him, but I mean, the stun doesn't really do anything, so he's just gonna. So I have even had some Venom stay in the stun and continuously shoot. Or sometimes, like I said, this stun ability is so glitchy. It is so buggy. Like, it's been like that the entire. Actually, her whole kit, besides her ult, has been wait, yes, her whole kit besides her ult has been buggy. So not only the kit itself is bad, but the stuff you have on this character has also been buggy. There was a TikTok video I made of where my friend basically walked through this entire thing without getting stunned a single time. And then when he did, it was literally right here, and that was it. He managed to walk across this whole bubble perfectly fine. And not only that, there's been many times where there's been many other players to where this hex will not work, or it has stunned the ult, and they ulted in it, and it just let them ult in it. For example, a Gambit, I threw my ult at him the same time he used his ult, and it didn't cancel his ult. He literally used it as he got stunned. Like, that stun just does not really matter. People argue and say, okay, well, she had a stun. Or I even had someone argue with me talking about how, basically, I was talking about how you can use this as like an AoE, right? It's a bubble. You can use it as like a stun trap. They said, no, you're supposed to directly hit them. Why would you, why are you saying you can just, yes, you can, that's optional, but that's not her main, well, supposed to, that's not her main supposed use. Okay, you can, it's optional. You can use it as either a stun bubble or you can directly throw it on them. However, they tried to argue that basically all you could do was you're supposed to just directly throw it on them. But if that was true, they would have made it like Mantis basically. Mantis, it's not a bubble. You throw it, you hit the enemy, and then it's only on them. There's no AoE, there's no nothing. It hinders the character, and that character specifically that you threw it on. If that was the case with Wanda, they wouldn't have made that AoE, which, again, doesn't really do much at all. At all. You have, oh god, you have this beam. You can't have clean positioning with her because this beam requires range, and if you have no range, you cannot get any bolts. This stun, it does absolutely nothing, and when it does something, it doesn't do quite much. Mystic projection. Remember when I said that her kit has been buggy throughout the entirety of Rivals? Yes, her mystic projection was also very buggy, and sometimes it still bugs, although whether it's within movement or you get hit in it. And I'm not talking about a Spider-Man webs you before you get into it and you get hit out of phase. I'm talking about literally as you're into phase, you get knocked out of it immediately, or you like die. Not in a Spider-Man way. You just die in your phase. I have had that happen to me quite a few times. But basically, the problem with Mystic Projection is whenever you would use her phase, right, it would somehow get buggy, and it would be like a movement mechanic to where it would make you be still, or you couldn't like fly up, down, left, right at the same time, which would really mess up people trying to get on like high things, or it would like disposition them. Like literally 2 seconds have cost them their lives. I seen Wanda's bug like that. I remember Quabbles complained about it before. Quabbles, my bad. But it's just, it's just so bad. Like, and not only is her kit bad, you have a gambling all and boring. I mean, yeah, her kit is very boring. Like, I see no need. Like, she's just boring overall. But not only is she, like I said, she hinders you in more than one way. Not providing anything for the team. You constantly using her throughout the match. She can't really do anything. And then the last hindrance is basically if you're a tank, she forces your teammate to switch to a tank that one isn't really bad, even though he's getting buffs and he's going to be meta in the next season. Still, it should not. Her relying on teammates for certain things is basically a need. It shouldn't be a need. It should be an accessory or something of that sort. She shouldn't constantly require needing help for every single thing. She is her own character. I have no idea why she's this bad. It's just terrible. I cannot. So basically, in Celestial, the only way you can really get true value out of her is really frontlining with the tank. Why is that? Because frontlining is really the only way you will constantly use your bolts. Get your bolts and use them. But hey, you're attacking tank all game. We're not going to act like tank is the only people who's usually in the front line. It's either a tank or DPS. However, you want to frontline. You want to frontline with your beam, and then you want to shoot backline from the front line. And depending on the angle of that map, it can ruin or wreck your games. As if her kit wasn't bad enough. Yes. Why is that? Because if in lower ranks, she's meant for sequel target, right? She's like a Psylocke. She's like a Psylocke, but significantly worse. Okay. She's watered down. You have to get within a single range. You can't just do whatever you, that would make sense. However, like, no skill requirement, whatever. Like, even if you want to be smart and take cover, like, the typical shooter games, right? You can't do that because the beam cuts off, so you can get no angles, you can have no clean positioning. You can't really do anything but except walk out like you're invincible and just attack to your fullest, expecting to not get hit. This is a character where skill on her matters. Skill on her does not matter at all. Her character is built around basically how dumb or how unskillful your enemy team is, rather than how skillful you are, or how much you can do on her. Okay, basically it's just. This is the type of character, like, you hope your teammates aren't smart. You can't hope that you can outplay them, or you can't hope that you can outdo them. With this character, you have to hope that the enemy isn't as smart, or just can't do certain things, can't aim. Not aiming is making it your easiest job, because if you can't aim, you're basically just sitting there doing whatever you want to them. But it's like, even if they can't aim, what really can you do? You can't hide and cut corners. You can't be within a certain range because you're required to be in a range. You can stun them, but it's really gonna stun them for 2 seconds and you're out of it. You can't really, there's nothing with this kit, like, you can't really do anything, which really her main role is supposed to be like sort of like a Psylocke assassin. You go in the back line, take out the supports, and then you run away. But she's so bad at doing that, and Psylocke is so good at doing that, so they have their differences. There are literally roles that can do Scarlet's job significantly better. It can be the complete opposite of this kid, right? Well, this kid is already bad, so I'm gonna say, like, basically a complete opposite role of an assassin's kid. Okay. For example, Iron Man. Iron Man is usually in a very far back trying to just get all the damage he can, right? He can literally, if you wanted to, or if you're skillful enough, Twitch would be a prime example, even though, they have nerfed him and did all types of experiments with him. Can literally do Wanda's job better. All you have to do is just let an enemy kill. You can get the kill quicker than she can because, okay, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. It's just no matter what role it is or what job, they can do her job 10 times better, easier, and faster than her. And not only that, Wanda is a time-ticking bomb. Okay, time matters in this game like crazy. So this entire time you're sitting here fighting, doing absolutely nothing because the enemy is actually healing the people that you're attacking. You're wasting time, and it's so easy to out-heal her damage. It's not even funny. Okay, so not only do you have a gambling ult, a bad kit, and let's see what else. And forcing your tank to play a character that makes your character viable, which not only hinders that damage output because he's mainly used for a shield. Let's say you need more damage, right? You can't play a more damage tank because your Scarlet needs a strange for her team up that does absolutely nothing but give her more range, which is even crazy because with the damage buff, I mean not damage buff, with the damage nerf of the team up, literally her bolts does more damage than her team up ability, which is why I'm saying her team up is only good for range and ult charge, and that's about it. Which in generally it does nothing. Sometimes the range helps, but besides that range, you can't really. It's just not good. So out of those three things, you're wasting time. You're just she's just I don't know. Okay, now let's see. Wanda is so powerful in the comics, and not only that, just the show in general. And then she comes to this game, right? Everyone's hoping she's, well, I'm not everybody, but the people that are interested in this character are hoping that she's gonna be good, decent, or at least good. She doesn't even have to be fun, but at least good while not being fun, right? She's completely all the above. No one asked for a Moira DPS. See, the thing is, Cloak and Dagger also has a beam, but like the difference is they're a healer, they're a support. They're not always going to be, and nor should they really, be in the enemy backline attacking or flanking people. Which even if they did do that, they can honestly do it more successful than Wanda. Why? Because it's their kit. They have, let's see what they have. Give me a minute. They have a cloak, and they're getting two actually with a buff, right? Okay. They can blind the enemy, which means they won't be seen. They can heal themselves. They can heal allies while from afar. Well, that doesn't really go that far, but you get the point. Invisible Woman. Wanda's bolts. Oh my god, I can't tell you how many. It's especially with this Invisible Woman buff, it's been so annoying trying to just do what she's supposed to do because you have to play around what she's actually supposed to do because she's so bad at doing what she's supposed to do. The shield one is bigger. Throwing bolts, it's just going to hit the shield, or she can just run, push you away. She can flip you everywhere but loose, which is another reason why playing Wanda on an Invisible Woman would be a terrible job, but that doesn't matter, right? Because you have Gambit. Whenever I'm attacking a Gambit on Wanda, it feels like his HP is never going down. And if it does go down, all he has to do, that heals him. Well, usually I'm pretty sure it does, because I've seen him do that and he healed him. But even if you can't heal him, right? He's still dashing several meters away from you. So I mean, you're still safe. Not to mention, you can just do that and heal yourself. Let's see what other support. Loki, automatic lamp. You get him low, but this is anybody though. All that hard work goes for nothing, especially if it's two supports and they're in his lamp. You just did all that damage for no reason. Even though I'm not explaining Wanda as if she's like basically the only person on the team, because keep in mind this is a team game, but still she's providing really nothing. It doesn't matter what she's doing. And people will see, well, she's a person you're supposed to get picks on, basically. You can do that with any character. Any character can provide getting picks. There's one thing to have a character with certain abilities and a certain role, but it's another thing to like basically force them into playing in playing in only one specific way because you think their abilities play specifically into that role. They're versatile. And basically what I'm saying is you have a specific way that a character is built for them to play around. I meant to play as, meaning like they give you a certain kit and they expect you to do the job in a way that's made for that kit. But you should basically be able to play around that. Like you shouldn't have to just stick to staying in one lane when you can go in different lanes, and most people have other lanes to choose from. I kind of was overthinking a lot with this video, so that's why I stopped so much, but that's basically what I was saying here. even like a magic can do what Wanda does, but better. Who plays the complete opposite? Hella. Hella can do what Wanda does better, even though I mean, she does like two shot, but usually people play her in the front line, and but if they were to go to the side with Garen, they can do basically the same thing Wanda does, but better. Any one of these characters can do that. The only person I'm not sure about is Storm, because she doesn't really have any movement abilities. But besides that, she probably could still even do that. Now, as far as tanks, I'm not sure. However, when it comes to the other stuff, yes. Luna Snow. I'd say Luna Snow is possibly one of the ones you can actually kill with Wanda's. It might be one of the only ones you can kill without an issue. You can't really do it on Mantis. Mantis is a 50-50. Luna Snow is a... It just depends on the player with these two. But most of the time, a Mantis will win. A Cloak and Dagger will win. Invisible Woman will win. Gambit will win. And a Jeff, I wouldn't say would have won, but he would just run away because he has damage reduction when he's underneath the ground, and it's just so easy for him to run away. And if you are like me, I've tried to kill him before. It's basically a Tom and Jerry. Again, wasting time. You're chasing a Jeff all around, even though people would say that, like, well, technically you're doing something because he's too busy running away. He's not healing the team. It's quite the opposite on triple support, and God forbid you're on triple support with Wanda, because you're definitely not doing anything. Because triple support, Rocket is actually, to be honest, quite easy. But if he's with playing around his teammates, you can't really do anything because it's literally Wanda. Adam Warlock, too much sustain. Even though he's like, I mean, he's solid, I guess, but like. And then Ultron. All Ultron has to do is just fly up in the air, because Wanda, while she can fly, she can't stay up there. Which is why I also think having Wanda as like, I feel like having her as a choice to be a flyer between, having Wanda as a choice to be a flyer would be like, it would be nice and good. Not only like just her being a flyer, but like having the option to either stay on the ground or fly. We have had flyers and on ground flyers to where they like hover down, but like as far as staying up in the sky, like an ability, like, okay, let's see, I use this ability, right, but I'm still flying. Like, it keeps me in the sky, and then if I'm down, I can choose to stay on the ground, and I can also just use it to fly up here.
During this time,
sort of like
I was going to say
Phoenix, but the thing is, Phoenix cannot stay in the sky forever. I feel like Wanda should be able to do that.
Finish, like, I think it cut it out what I was saying, but I was going to say, I think she would probably, her role would be good as checks and balances. People complain a lot about checks and balances in this game and how, like,
so with Wanda, you're not really getting any real value. You have watered down powers.
I also think we should have.
She has a terrible kid with the gambling all.
Those checks and balances, and I feel like Wanda.
She just had so many glitches through our rivals.
She would be the perfect person to
She's just her numbers really mean nothing about people playing her without a reason.
Like, she should also.
There's a reason for why people play these characters, and there's a reason why people don't.
Sort of to like how Deadpool opens up the books, but like sort of similar to, for those of you.
I think her role should be
There's this killer named Vecna, and you have 4 whole options to basically 4 different options that does 4 different things and helps out with certain things that would help the person do certain things. So I would say either checks and balances with her, a part flyer / grounded person, which I would feel like that would have more AoE team-based abilities, not full-on AoE like Iron Man, but like you have at least the option to fly and do in-sky battles and different stuff like that. What's next? a kit that requires like several bars. Like she would have several. Crap. How would I explain? Okay, I'm going to explain that. So this is what I meant by bars. So here I used I was actually planning on using Daredevil and Rogue, even though I did use Daredevil and Rogue. However, I was planning as using Daredevil as the main stat since the bar is actually, you know, red. But besides that, the point is, when I say bars, I mean here I have mixed Deadpool's and Rogue's bars, and each bar would be a different ability or each spell cast by the Scarlet Witch, because you notice how basically she has these orbs. Basically, when you choose her character, she shows off these spell orbs. None of these are actually used in game. It's basically an accessory at this point. So why not actually use those orbs like this in a way to actually maintain her gameplay? Each cast would have like a certain excuse me, a certain spell time, or like a certain, depending on what it is, just having different options and spells that last long, either if it's a second or while she's using it, or just what it is. I feel like she should be a person who has either checks and balances, or just something that provides like options. Like she should have several options. I had got this idea from Vecna from DVD, which is what I was talking about. And here, farther down, you can see that Vecna has 4 different types of powers within the one spell. And once you press the spell button, you choose between the 4. And I feel like she should be able to choose which one. Now, as far as like each one of them staying on the battlefield, like you choose one, can you put all 4 down or whatever it is, and can use them at the same time? Depending on how they do that, I'm not sure, but I would at least let her be able to use 2 spells max, at least that. But that's where I got this idea from, basically, because it just reminded me of, yeah, you know, so basically Wanda. So well, not many. Well, some of you have been attacking me because I am trying to help a character
So it begins.
be better at what they are now. She's literally not good. You sharp shield shooters, you gold, you gold diamond people. You just because you're destroying lobbies and gold does not mean she's doing the same thing in higher ranks. Many of you think she's unstoppable, or you don't want her to change. It's because many of you who are low rank, you feel like something just because you can destroy an entire lobby because of her auto beam. Even so, it gets to a point where that gets boring because you're not really doing anything. Even though you're destroying lobbies you're still not really doing anything to destroy them. Like you're not rewarded really for doing anything. All you're doing is doing this. You can't tell me walking around doing this is fun. And even though you're going to talk about you have right clicks, you're required to hold the left click for right click, because without that right click, you're not getting anything.
Unless you want to sit here for like how long, like 7 seconds or so, just to get one ball and throw it and it be gone. Besides that, you're not really getting anything out of it. But I feel like she should be a mid flyer of
Also,
choice.
to mention
She can
how I
either
said
choose to be
AoE on
a flyer or she can
AoE.
choose to be grounded.
Basically, the difference with Wanda
I feel
is
like
she would be AoE
her,
with spellcast.
if
While
they
he
want
has
to add a
double
beam,
AoE,
it should at
you
least be
can
the
make
chaos
it
beam.
expanded. C would have AoE, but she would have different casting spells, and each spell would do something different, such as stripping armor, reducing
An example of that would
heals,
be
blind,
Iron Man. Should
whatever
be a
that
beam
is.
like this.
Basically, we have enough
Basically,
mechanics to the point where we can
a better Wanda.
add, like,
Okay,
newer
because this
things.
is how her projectiles for the shootout. It's sort of similar. Okay, because his trajectory is sort of different. But I mean, they're both projectile characters, and not only that, it does AOE damage. His does true AOE damage. Okay, you can also amplify the AOE damage even more. It lessens the damage, but I mean, you still have more AOE, so that's AOE on top of AOE. And then you have mini missiles and just. But mainly I'm talking about her primary fire. And it's actually distracting because not only are you just shooting and you can expend AoE, but you also are forcing the enemy to shoot up. And if they're looking up, you can't. It's gonna be harder for your healers or DPS to attack the front line while also supporting DPS to attack the front line while also trying to shoot the Iron Man down or whatever. That's why so many people with Iron Man, it's just. And then you have Torch. Torch, when he first came out, I was shocked because literally you can either hit the enemy or like not hit them. It doesn't matter wherever you shoot, whether you can shoot, miss, and it turns into this fire-like thing, which is exactly how Wanda's Hex ability work. However, in game, it's just a underwhelming bubble. That does absolutely nothing. It doesn't slow, it doesn't burn, it doesn't take. It just stuns. That's all it does. That's all it does. But what makes me so mad is the fact that this is why I think she should be a flyer of choice. Is because she has this beautiful, pretty animation to where she glides down. It's so pretty, but it's a pretty piece of garbage because it does absolutely nothing besides stop you from falling faster than you could have. Which you could be like, oh wait, but it helps you shoot in the sky as you fall down, but really it doesn't matter. You can do just as much up there as you can down there, and actually you gliding will make it easier for a person like a Hella Phoenix, actually anybody, to target you, because she doesn't have movement speed, she doesn't have anything, she's just gliding down. You're literally killing yourself. And then if you want to use it, you're wasting an ability to do so. Which really, it's just, I just use this because it's pretty, but it really does nothing. So I feel like she should have a ton of bars, basically. She should have a hex bar. You know, she have runes, basically. Wait, hold on, let me get to it. These runes right here. Like each rune, I feel like she should have an ability where each rune does something. For example, one could stun, one could like reduce healing reduction, one could armor strip. Basically, simple things that she does. She has all this power for what? Even though in this game, she, like I said, it's terrible. Her kit is terrible. She is basically a throw pick. And the crazy thing is, even if you are doing good on Wanda,
I've
right?
made my share of
Or
mistakes,
you have Ace.
and
If
I am
honestly, I
fighting
think
every
if you have
day to
Ace on
make
Wanda
amends.
in a high rank, your teammates are underperforming really bad. But you're even though you're winning, they're just because of how bad she is. Like her damage is so low, you're really doing nothing.
Well, who's next?
Like there have been times in Celestial where her damage is so low, you don't really even get on the scoreboard. The scoreboard does not acknowledge you because of, like, for example, I was attacking this support, right?
That did the trick.
They were like half health. I was getting close to killing them. Magic swoops around the corner. She kills the person I was targeting. Magic gets the kill. I don't get the kill, even though I got her half health. It did not acknowledge me. And I stayed on her that entire time. And that happened quite a few times that match. Like her damage is so bad and it takes so long. It takes too much time. And time is a real issue. Oh yeah, also I forgot. I was talking about how her kit is so glitchy. Even her beam has glitched before and it does it all the time. With this one specific character. Captain
We all
America.
stand up for what's right. Who
The
will?
amount of times this beam has not tracked this Captain America while I'm looking. Captain America, wait, how do you run? Okay. He would run around the payload. Okay, she can break his shield. However, when he jumps, for some reason, that beam does not connect to him. It stops, and you have to wait every single time for his beam, I meant for her beam to connect when he comes down because it will not track him when he jumps up in the sky, and it's so annoying and is again wasting time. Wanda is not only a low damage dealer, a gambler, a bad gambler at that. She wastes a lot of time, and time is very important in this game. She wastes time significantly, and it's so bad.
Sorry.
So really, if you really are choosing Wanda, she really is a throw pick. Even if you are doing good, you're still throwing. Even if your teammates are doing good and they're demolishing the teammates, you playing her alone is just, you're not, you're not really doing something. And it's part of that is not your fault because of how she is, but still. And people are gonna ask, well, why do people play her? They're playing her because it's Wanda. People are gonna play their favorite character regardless, which is why the same thing happened with Rocket. There are quite a few characters. Okay, let's see. There was one other character in there was Rockets. Rockets were really nonchalant, so they were getting it like crazy, to be honest. And I did feel bad, okay?
We got the
Simply
galaxy,
because
sure.
his
But
ult did not
sometimes we
provide any
take other
sustain.
people are
They
gone.
were getting bad-mouthed everything,
This is a
and it was
nice
all because
spot.
his ult. But the thing was, 90% of Rocket mains, I guess, are chill players, so they just did not care at all. They did not care. They did not care. Even if it was throwing, it was like, well, you gave us the option to throw, so that's not really our fault. And that's right, that's not their fault, that's the dev's fault. But until then, like, they had to fix it. Thor. People were bad mouthing Thor because Thor needed a rework. He
My
was
brother
just.
Loki imperils not just Asgard, but all
I
the
don't even know what to
realms.
say about this man. And to be honest, I can't really say anything because I can't use him. Although I do know, because of how bad he was constantly getting yelled at and everything. Now here he is, fully reworked, and he's just an annoying pestilence. Oh yeah, also this is another example. Thor, right? He gets shield every single. I don't know how his shield works, but all I know is every single time this man comes in my backline, he has a ton of shield, and I'm just sitting here, sucking, throwing, and stunning, doing absolutely nothing. I'm doing all three of those things. Routes through the entire backline and goes back to his teammates, safe and sound. You have two
The
supports,
enemy is here.
a DPS, which one that does nothing. So okay, let's add another DPS, and he still makes it back. Like Wanda doesn't really. The only time I can say Wanda isn't really as big as a throw is ooh, as if only if you are running triple DPS because she doesn't do enough DPS for like do a DPS unless that DPS is like really outdoing you. Which again, it's not your fault if they are outdoing you because you know how she is. But yeah, it's just so bad. I just really want them to fix this character so not only can she be playable, I don't even care if she's fun, at least make her good, at least. Like, I do want them to make her fun, but it's like, I was thinking if they, like, something with the Darkhold or something, I'm like, wait, but how would she open up a book while in the midst of a fight or something like that? And then Deadpool gets added, and I'm like, oh, he's literally on a book while in the midst of battle, and I'm like, okay, so this game, they have the creativity to do it, and I'm hoping if she does get reworked, it's not like Symmetra, because Symmetra off Overwatch, people were, I've never played Overwatch for that long, to the point where I was there with all the shield meta and all that other stuff. However, people wanted a Symmetra rework because she was, I guess, bad, really bad. So they did it 2 years later, and the rework was still not good or to their liking. So right after, to this day, no one plays the woman at all. Like, she's been like that for so many years. So I'm hoping if they make her rework, it's impactful and it's meaningful and it's actually fun. Because no one in that game uses her, and I'm pretty sure they said she's been reworked 3 whole times. Which I have faith in rivals. I feel like they're not lazy, they're not money hungry. They actually like try to make their game enjoyable and have a fun experience. But I just, we reworked 3 characters already. I forgot who the third one was, but I do know it's Rocket and Thor. People were saying Hulk, but to be honest, Hulk, I wouldn't say a rework, but it's just, to be honest with him, all you really need is buffs and nerfs. I meant not nerfs, but like buffs basically. But I feel like it's time that we rework Wanda. We did that to 3 characters. Let her be the 4th character, please. They said there's this new news that's supposed to be coming up January 13th. I hope that is her rework because she is so terrible. It's not funny. It's not funny and it's not enjoyable to play her either. But you guys seen that basically. Bucky, I don't use Bucky, I don't know why he's flagged up here. But basically, I've used Emma, Rogue. I want her to be more impactful, so I'm just waiting, just in case you do something with her. But Torch and Daredevil and Psylocke. Psylocke got that about Daredevil. I like Daredevil, and I love Torch. But it's like my heart goes to Wanda. Like, even though I have Torch and I got really good at him, it's like, it's this urge that I just want to play Wanda and I can't. I remember playing a rank match and I accidentally clicked Torch. She was like, we have a Lord Torch and you choose Wanda. I'm like, I like Torch, but my heart goes out to Wanda. Like, it's just, I just really want to play her. I cannot. And playing her in these high ranks is just so mind-boggling. Like, sometimes I just want to pull my hair out because these people should have died when they should have, and it's just certain things in her. She doesn't really provide anything, and the stuff that she do provide, people can do her job better than what she's supposed to do. They do her job better than her. She's just, and you can't play around that because of the way her kit is built. So even if she's made a specific way, usually you can play around a certain playstyle, right? You can't do that with her because there are certain requirements put in place for this character. I also feel like that she should be, people talk about checks and balances. I feel like with adding checks and balances in the game, I feel like we should have a checks and balances character, and I feel like Wanda would fit really good into that archetype, just simply because of what she can do and all this other stuff. But yeah, I hope they rework her. We've had a whole year with her in the bottom tier list. She wasn't really a problem at the start of the game until they added more characters, but she's just, oh my gosh, she's so terrible now. And the only time she was decent was with that 6-hour buff, which turns out it was a mistake. So yeah, she's just overall terrible. I cannot. I'm gonna make more videos about this later on. I'm sorry if this one is sort of bad. I just got my streaming equipment and stuff, so I'm trying to learn how to properly use it. I haven't used it yet, but I am planning to use it. So if I sound a bit weird or something, it's most likely this mic I have. So I'm sorry, but yeah. That's overall what I think. She is a time waster. She is a sort of a team thrower. She forces your tank to play a different tank, and God forbid they're not good at range. She wastes a lot of time. She doesn't do anything. can watch your supports die. Not that it's the Wanda's fault, but I mean, what can you really do with what they've given you? She is a bad gambler. Not because the ult is bad, but because you have a gambling ult with a bad kit. That's bad overall, because you have nothing to balance the gamble. Yeah, there's no good, not to mention you get it once every blue moon, which...
Our foes have found us.
And after this, I'm about to call out some comments that were made, because some of you guys have said stuff which made me think that, like, really, I think the most people I was getting attacked by for saying that she needs to rework were the Gold Guardians, the Sharpshield Shooters, and I have no other, like, or the people that just wants to play God in the low lobbies just simply because she has an auto beam. You're clearly staying there for a reason if you want to play God. But like, let's be real. The people who actually want to play her and go to the highest rank possible with her, they can't really do that because of what the game has given her. And even if so, it sometimes require a duo teammate or so, which it shouldn't really. You shouldn't need that. Help is a very much need for Wanda. Her need is not an accessory. It's not like. Help should be an option for her. No, you need help with everything. It doesn't matter what she does. Even the job of killing the Spider-Man, she needs help with that too. The one thing that you would think this beam would be good for, no. Because he just is, one, too fast, and two, her damage is so low. So when he's in that one area for a few seconds, the best you can do is run away and God forbid your teammates think. God forbid your teammates think that it's your job, so they're not going to shoot at him at all whatsoever. So as you're over here struggling to get a Spider-Man because you can't, with the tools you have been given, you are constantly blamed and just, oh my god, everything. Like, it's so bad. So I'm hoping by January 13th that there is news that she gets a rework, and it's not just, sort of like, okay, there's nothing wrong with Thor's tweak, but like a Scarlet Witch, I had no idea why they introduced her to the game. Well, it was the start of the game. Maybe they had a low budget. I don't really know. However, I don't hope it's a Thor like rework or a Rocket like rework. I hope it's a very good, great rework with that opens up a lot of possibilities, team possibilities, and
But I'm trying to bring a bit of
not to make her a
order.
full-on team player like Storm, but give her some type of team capabilities and just
Our foes have found us.
go crazy with it. I've been using Wanda throughout the entirety of this game, including the beta, so I know everything, every glitch, every bug, everything that's been wrong with her to this point. I've been using her this entire time. So, like, this kit right here, okay, this is from, they gave us Avengers Infinity War kit, basically. And I noticed because the way she glides, she does that in Infinity War. Her beam is actually supposed to be telekinesis, like that one scene where she was, Hawkeye and Black Widow were fighting, and she threw Black Widow's leg. This is what I'm pretty sure this would have been, although you know this is a shooter game, so they're not going to literally add people. I mean, they can add it to where you can throw people, but who knows what that would turn out like. So yeah, and then her ult is definitely not comic book wise. However, it's when she was first introduced to the Marvel cast, when she blew all the Ultron robots away, I say it's more of that type of ult, simply because it's not as strong as the one in comics. Her mystical phase,
Goodbye. For now.
I mean, that was sort of out of like WandaVision, although you have the orb and you're still seeing. They just can't shoot you, it's just a phase, so literally. But yeah, she is terrible. I hope they rework her. And many others do too. Besides the sharp shield shooters, the golden guardians, and the people who want to play God and gold. Let it go. This is a hero shooter, okay? You're required to shoot, and people have had this audacity to say that, well, in a shooter game, you need you need some type of people who you don't really have to aim with. That's not necessarily true, because before anything, it's a hero shooter. And even if people have chosen her because they can't aim with this game, I guarantee you they've chosen her for 2 days and gotten off and learned the actual character to be skillful with. Why, you may ask? Because one, you're playing a character you're only playing with for the start because you don't know how to aim. You're only playing for 2 days. I mean, you can stay doing that, but one, it's probably most likely the character they don't want to play. And two, Wanda is really easy to get bored of because you're, like I said, you're forced to do this all day.
Chaos
And
always prevails.
before you talk about her left clicks or right clicks, whatever, her bolts,
Goodbye.
her charge, her beam comes before her bolts, so it doesn't matter. So technically, yes, you are beaming all game because it's not like you can just do this
Chaos.
all the time. Which I would love the bolt feature because this, oh my god. So yeah, that is also why you should never really choose Wanda. And if you have a Wanda, I mean, they're not wrong about you throwing, especially where if she's trying to target a flyer, and God forbid the supports are not healing her, she can get beamed out the sky.
And so it
Her beam
begins.
takes too long. You have to be a certain range. You can use a certain amount of bolts. Her bolts damage is so low. And I'm only killing stuff right now because, like, there's no healing. Which is why, for the training thing, I was using botted Groots. Because basically when you're on Wanda, that's what everybody's health bar feels like, a Groot bar. And God forbid it's a tank, because you will never, ever really... So, yeah. So please stop attacking me, because I'm trying to help this character. Like, I want to save this character. I'm not trying to slaughter her. She's already slaughtered, but I'm not trying, like... the urge to play this character is just so high. And yet, when I play her, I want to pull my hair out. Even cry sometimes. She's so bad. She is so bad. But yeah, that's it for this video. Yep, I will be checking comments and reading what you guys are saying, and I will be calling out you guys who say ridiculous things, because there are some things that you guys say that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and the things that you say, it makes me look at you like you are definitely in gold, because who is doing this in a high rank? But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy your day. Yeah.